So we don't want to just check the name. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use something called an enum. So an enum is basically a way of storing names of particular objects and then assigning them within assigning them as a special value, basically. So in our gem script here, I'm going to add a public enum that we're going to call gem type. And then inside a curly bracket here, we're going to type some different names for our gems. We're going to have a blue one, green one, red, yellow, and purple. And each one is broken up by a separated comma. So at the end of that, we now have basically a new value. So basically, like we have a vector2 here and a bool and a float and all this stuff, and we've created an enum gen type. So basically we've now created a new value that we can use. So right below that, we're going to say here we have a public gem type that we're going to call type. So how is this visualized back in Unity? It's easy to understand this stuff when you see it in action. So if I go back into Unity now, and if I select our gem over here, like so, and then go down to the gem component, now you'll see we have a type value. So although we created two of these, we created a gem type and then a type variable. The type variable that we have here is of gem type, and we can assign it any of those values that we created in the enum. So an enum is basically, I think it's enumerated value. I can't remember, enumerated type. Maybe if I hover over it, will it tell me? Nope, it sure won't. But that's okay, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is it's an enum, and we have each one of those that we can set. So now if we go back in here with our blue one, obviously we want that to be blue. Let's then get our green gem and make it green. Purple will be purple, red will be red, and you guessed it, yellow will be yellow. So then, now that each of our gems has been assigned a particular type, we can go back to our match finder and we can say, so we know we have a left gem which is to the left of us and a right gem which is to the right of us, and we can say if our left gem dot type is equal to, so we put two equals when we want to compare something in an if statement. So if our left gem dot type is equal to our current gem dot type, I just realized that our current gem doesn't have a T in it, so let's fix that. There we go. So if our left gem dot type is the same as our current gem's type, and our right gem dot type is equal to current gem dot type, well, that means that they're all the same type of gem. So for example, if our left gem is blue and our current gem is blue and our right gem is blue, then we know that they're all the same. So that means we found a match. So we need to tell those gems themselves basically that they've been matched. So if we go back to the gem, we're going to create a public bool value called is matched. And when I'm here, I'm going to make sure that these values are hidden in the inspector again, because we still don't need to see those. But we do want to see whether we're currently matched, especially for our testing purposes. So I'm going to save that. And let's go back to our match finder. And in here, we're going to say our current gem dot is matched is equal to true, and the left gem dot is matched is equal to true, and the right gem is matched is equal to true. Okay, so perfect. That's how we're going to check horizontally if we have any matches. Now, rather than doing anything else just yet, we need to make sure that this is working. So we're going to go back to our board script, and up here, oh, I removed the update loop, but we're actually going to add the update back in here because I forgot we would need this for a little while. And basically in the update loop, we're going to tell it to call the match finder function every time. So first thing we'll need is a reference to the match finder. So we're going to create a private match finder that we'll just call match find. And in the start function, we're going to say match find equals get, or sorry, not get, find object of type match finder. So we're just going to store that value. Actually, sorry, I'm doing completely the wrong thing here. Like I said, we want to do, when we want to find an object like that, we want to do it in the awake. So let's do our awake here and paste that back in there. So now that we have that, in our update loop, we're just going to say every frame of the game, see if we have any matches. So find all matches. Okay, so let's test this out. Now, at the moment, this is quite inefficient. You don't really want your game to be finding matches constantly the whole time, but we're going to leave it like this just for now, and a little bit later, we're going to create the systems that will allow us to actually do it correctly. But for now, we're going to have that work like so. Now we have our match finder script and we have our board, and if I go ahead, and as you will just see on our gems, we know we have a is matched value now. So if I go ahead and press play, we've already got a few matches. So this purple one here is matched is false because these are vertical matches. But this blue one over here, oh, if I click on the right one, here we go, blue, that is marked as is matched. So perfect, our is matching is working. These other ones should all be matched as well. That's great. Let's see if we move something around. So if I move this red one down here, that should make these ones now be matched. It does perfectly. One other bonus of this is that if I move this one over here and then up, now we've got a match of 4, but all 4 of these will be matched correctly. So if I click on each one, you might have thought, oh, we're only matching 3, but effectively what happens is this one doesn't have a gem to either side, so it doesn't get marked as matched automatically. This one has a gem to the left and to the right, so it marks all of these as is matched. But then we get to this one, and this also has one to the left and to the right. So it'll mark this one is matched and this one is matched. So that's perfect. And then this last one, obviously it doesn't have one to the right, but it's already been marked as matched, and this one has already been marked as matched as well. So that's how we can actually have 4 being marked as matched correctly, even though we're just looking to one left and one right of each gem. So perfect, our matching system is working. I'm going to just save this as we go. Let's go back in here then, and we're going to make sure that we do this for the vertical axis as well. So let's go back to our match finder, and we're essentially going to do the same thing, but just with the y-axis instead of the x-axis. So I'm going to copy all of this code here. I'm going to paste it in down below, and we're going to swap our x's for y's. So if our y is greater than 0 and y is less than board height, and then we're going to have an above gem. And actually, sorry, I'm not going to do it like that. What I'm going to do here is, you can see if I highlight this, it shows me all the left gems we have. One handy little trick with Visual Studio is if you hold Control and press R twice, you can rename all the variables. So I can rename this to be above gem, like so, and then I hit enter and it changes all of them. But what's really important is it didn't change the ones up here, because Visual Studio knew that when we created the left gem up here, it was used in all these places, but this is only happening within this if statement. So as far as Visual Studio is concerned, you've created it in here, and then its usefulness comes to an end once it gets to the end of this if statement. And then down here, you're basically you're basically creating a whole new left gem, and that's the one we renamed. So it didn't rename this one up here, it only renamed the references to it down below it. And then we can do the same thing here for the right gem. I'm going to rename this to be below gem, and obviously we don't want it to do like this. So above gem, we want to say x and y plus 1, and then for below gem we want to say x the same and y minus 1. Okay, so we've already got above gem and below gem. We're checking they're null. We're checking that they're the same as our type, perfectly fine. And then we're saying the above gem and below gem are matched if that is true. So let's save that. Let's go back in here. We'll let this compile, and then when I press play, we should see, let's see if we got any vertical matches. No, we don't yet, but if I do this one, now these purple ones should be all vertically matched. So we've got our gem here. This is matched. This one is matched. This one is matched. And this one is matched. And also this is coincidentally along with these horizontal ones. So also these other ones to the side will also be marked as matched. So perfect. Our matches are now being created correctly. And that's great. We now know which gems are being matched in our game.